Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Trent Durham Advantage webinar series. My name is Tawny Weiss. I'm the enrollment advisor for the Durham campus, and I'll be your moderator for this evening. And I'm here with Christopher Rooney. He is the manager of client services and operations at Trent. So thanks for joining us today, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So today we are talking all things financing your education. So this will include, how Trent rewards academic excellence and some specific awards that will be of particular interest to students coming to the Durham campus specifically. So throughout the presentation, please feel free to use the chat room to the right-hand side to ask any questions that you may have. We will answer them following the presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it along to Chris.
Thanks, Tawny. So my name is Christopher Rooney, and part of my job is to help make Trent University affordable for our students. I want to answer two big questions today. How much will it cost? And how does Trent University Durham make it affordable for you? A university education is one of the most significant investments you'll make in your life. I want to give you the information that will help you to create a funding plan that works for you. Understanding your costs and knowing where to access funding will help you to get set up for success from the beginning. Here are some approximate costs, both for a student living at home and a student living away from home. Now, these are estimates, so in your case, your actual cost might be a little bit higher or a little bit lower in these areas, depending on your individual circumstances. So tuition. This is the cost associated with registering in courses and studying at Trent University Durham. This number reflects the approximate tuition costs for a full-time student. Ancillary fees. These cover things like athletics membership, transit pass, student association membership, and on-campus clubs, groups, and other programming. Tuition and ancillary fees are both billed to your student account and can be paid to the university. Books and supplies. This includes things like textbooks or electronic reading materials, computer accessories, and other school supplies. This number will vary for each student depending on things like courses you take and how many of the necessary supplies you already own. Living costs. This category covers things like rent or housing fees, food or meal plan costs, and personal spending. So these costs can also vary pretty widely depending on your living habits. So things like stopping for a latte on your way to class versus bringing a mug of coffee from home can really impact this number. As you may see, these are big numbers. Approximately $20,000 living away from home and almost $13,000 living at home. So you may be thinking, wow, how will I be able to afford this? At Trent University Durham, we recognize the significance of these costs, which is why we make the greatest investment in scholarships and bursaries of any university in Canada. That's right, #1 in Canada for scholarships and bursaries. Trent University Durham offers a robust selection of scholarships, bursaries, and awards that reward students for success in and out of the classroom. At the forefront of our commitment to supporting student success is our National Renewable Entrance Scholarship Program. Through our Renewable Scholarship Program, we invest between $4,000 and $25,000 in students over 4 years of study. These entrance scholarships begin rewarding students at a final average of 80% and increase in value as that final average increases. So an average of 80 to 84 will earn you up to $4,000 over 4 years, 85 to 89 will earn you up to $6,000 over 4 years, and 90 and above will earn you up to $25,000 over 4 years. That's your entire tuition paid for the length of your degree. Our renewable entrance scholarships are automatically assessed based on your final grades and do not require a separate application. Our prestigious scholarships look to reward students for their success in both their academics and their co-curricular activities. These scholarships are fully renewable and are valued at up to $25,000 over 4 years. So if you have an average of 80% or above and are active in your school or your community, I strongly encourage you to log into your MyTrent portal and fill out an application for our prestigious scholarships before the April 1st deadline. Our Specialist High Skills Major Scholarship and International Baccalaureate Scholarship look to reward students for their success in each of those programs. And applications for these can be found in the MyTrent portal as well. We also offer many other awards, scholarships, and bursaries to support and reward our students, including these awards that specifically invest in students studying at Trent University Durham. The Durham College Transfer Award, which is a $500 award towards tuition for college transfer students coming to Trent University Durham with a final average of 75% or above. And the Durham Good Neighbors Award, a $500 award added to the Trent U card for residents of the Durham region with a final average between 70 and 79%. And the Humanities Award, a $500 award added to the Trent U card for Canadian high school students studying the humanities with a final average of 75% or above. So if you're studying things like philosophy, history, English, communications and critical thinking, media studies, or taking a joint major in any of those programs, you'd be considered for this award. There are so many ways that Trent University Durham invests in and supports student success. I encourage you to take some time to discover these options and see which one makes the most sense with your unique funding plan.
We just want to take a quick second to apologize for the presentation issues we've been having, but it looks like we're okay to keep going.
Thanks for bearing with us, folks. Now I want to take a little bit of time to talk about some of the other sources that you might want to consider as part of your funding plan. OSAP, the Ontario Student Assistance Program. It's a combination of loans and grants from the provincial and federal governments. Grants, those are money that you do not have to pay back. Unlike other loans, OSAP is interest-free for the duration of your full-time studies and has extremely flexible repayment options. OSAP students are also often eligible for Trent University Durham bursaries, which is more money that you don't have to pay back. I encourage every single student to apply for OSAP, regardless of their financial situation. OSAP takes into consideration much more than just family income. So even if you think you may not be eligible or did not receive funding in the past, you might be eligible now. Best case scenario, you're eligible for some free money to help you with your educational and living costs. Worst case scenario, it took a little bit of time, and they tell you that this year you may not be eligible for the program. I encourage you to visit ontario.ca/OSAP to apply, and we usually advise applying in May for the coming September. Student line of credit. These are typically low interest loans through a bank or other financial institution. If you're not able to receive funding through OSAP, or you think you need to access additional funding, I encourage you to talk to your bank about setting one of these up. If you use credit cards or are planning to use credit cards, this is a better option because of the difference in interest rates, typically 4 to 6% versus 19 to 23% with a credit card. Personal savings. It's never too late to start if you haven't already done so. Having some money set aside already will help you start school in a better position financially. Family support. For some students, parents or relatives will be supporting you in your educational pursuits. It's a good idea to talk about how much funding you can expect to receive in order to build and complete your funding plan. RESP, or Registered Education Savings Plan, those are savings plans that have been set up specifically for education costs. Plan to divide your RESP funding evenly over all 4 years. And if you're receiving OSAP funding, only report the portion of the RESP that you're using for this year. If you have an RESP, you'll need to order a verification of enrollment from Trent University Durham in order to access these funds. This can be ordered once you've registered in all of your courses. Other awards and scholarships are available from many organizations outside of Trent University Durham. So places like employers, unions, churches, banks, and community organizations often offer scholarships for students. So please apply. Scholarship applications typically take between 20 and 30 minutes. So put on an episode of your favorite Netflix show and your application is done by the time it's over. There is a lot of money out there, and these organizations want to give it away. So apply, apply, apply. On-campus jobs. Many students work right here on campus. It's a great way to build your resume and make some additional spending money while you're going to school. So we talked about Trent University Durham's amazing scholarships and awards, and you've heard about some of the other funding sources that may work with your individual funding plan. I want to summarize my top 3 tips for setting yourself up for a funding plan, and then show you examples of how those big numbers I showed you earlier can become affordable with the right combination of funding. So what 3 things should I do? Apply for OSAP. You may be eligible for free money that doesn't have to be paid back. Apply for scholarships. Apply for any Trent University Durham scholarships that you think you might be eligible for, and look around for any and all scholarship opportunities that you might be eligible for outside of Trent. Talk to a Trent University funding expert. Call, email, or come in and talk to one of our experts. We'd be happy to help you create a funding plan that works for you. I want to summarize with a visual of how you might be able to combine some of the funding sources we talked about to make that sticker price we looked at earlier much more affordable. So let's look at Tyler, who lives away from home. His estimated costs are $21,200. He's using $3,000 in personal savings, a Trent University Durham renewable scholarship, $1,500 in bursaries, an on-campus job, and OSAP funding to meet his funding needs. And Ashley, her estimated costs are $12,700. She's living at home. She's using personal savings of $3,000, a Trent University Durham renewable scholarship, $3,400 in awards and grants, non-repayable money, an RESP, and a part-time job to meet her funding needs. These are simply examples of funding plans that work for each of these individual situations. The plan that works for you will be unique. Taking time to explore all of your options and making the effort to go after the money that you do not have to pay back will help you enter Trent University Durham in a position to succeed. So thank you so much for taking the time to follow along with me. I hope this has been a helpful experience for you. Now that I've had my turn, I want to open it up to you to ask questions that you might have brought with you or that have come up for you as we've gone along.
Okay, great. So just a reminder for everyone to type in any questions that you have to the right hand of the screen there, and Chris can answer any of the questions you may have. So just to start us off, Chris, could you let us know when should students apply for OSAP?
Applying for OSAP, we typically advise students to start the application in May. That gives them time to fill out all the paperwork, get any necessary documentation in, and have them set up so that things are ready to go for September.
Great, awesome. And when it comes to prestigious scholarships, typically what are the deadlines for those, and what type of applications are we typically looking for?
That's a great question. The application deadline for the prestigious scholarships is April 1st. The application's available online in the MyTrent portal. And what we're looking for is a combination of success in the classroom and outside the classroom. So we're looking for good marks. Like I said, any students with 80% or above, I encourage you to apply. And we're also looking for that success outside of the classroom. So if you're involved in the student council or a leader on your rugby team or involved in a number of things in your community, those are the things that we're looking for the prestigious scholarship application. We feel like those are really, really valuable things that you bring to Trent University Durham. And those are the things that we like to reward with those prestigious scholarships.
Okay, awesome. So we do have a question on the chat here. So what is the difference between a grant and a bursary?
Oh, that's a great question. Typically, grants come as part of the OSAP process. So when a student fills out a full-time OSAP application, they're going to be applying for both loans and grants. The grant portion is the money that doesn't have to be paid back. The loan portion is money that will eventually have to be paid back. As I mentioned, the loan portion is going to be interest-free for the entire time the person is a student. And the grant portion will never need to be paid back. So that's free money that comes to the student. Bursaries typically come from Trent University Durham. They come from the school. So once you arrive in September, we open a bursary application for our students. Students would apply for a bursary, and we have a wide range of bursaries that students can basically look through and see which ones they think they're eligible for, and then we match students' applications to the requirements for those bursaries. So once again, bursaries are also money that doesn't need to be paid back, just like grants. Just typically with grants, those are coming through the OSAP process. Bursaries are coming from the school.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. Now we have a question from Caroline who's wondering, what about out-of-province students? So do the same guidelines apply in terms of funding, etc.?
Carolyn, thank you so much for asking that question. Students that are Ontario residents would apply through OSAP, but every province or territory has a similar program. Anybody who's a resident of another province or territory would apply for a similar program through that province or territory.
Great. And we have a question from Alex who's wondering if we'll be putting on a similar webinar for Peterborough campus and the awards available.
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely.
Great. So just another question for students who may receive an entrance scholarship in their first year at Trent. What happens if they lose their scholarship after the first year? Can they get it back, or what are the processes for that?
That's actually one of the things that's unique about Trent is we recognize that they're coming to universities is sometimes a big adjustment for students, and there is that possibility that renewing that scholarship for the second year may not happen. So what we do is we offer students an opportunity to actually earn that back in subsequent years. So if at the end of your first year, your average wasn't quite in the range to be able to renew the scholarship, but after second year, you really had a successful year and got yourself on track, you have an opportunity to earn that scholarship back.
Okay, that's awesome. And kind of on the same topic, so what about for students who may not be eligible for their scholarship in the first year? Is there any kind of things that can happen later on for them in terms of scholarships or other awards?
Definitely. And in a similar situation, students may come in and find that they're going to be really successful in the university setting, which is why we offer in-course scholarships for students. So if you didn't come in with an entrance scholarship, but after your first year you had an 85% average or above, you could be eligible for in-course scholarships, and those would be potentially renewable as well.
Okay, great. So it looks like we've answered everyone's questions if we don't have any other questions coming in. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Actually, we have one last question coming in. So do you offer scholarships and bursaries for people who have post-secondary education? So not necessarily coming from high school, but students who may be coming from colleges or universities.
Yeah, absolutely. Our scholarships are open to both students coming from high school and students coming from college or university. The scholarship program is a little bit different, but for the most part, it is quite similar. We also have a specific college transfer award for students attending Trent University Durham.
Okay, great. And Daniel's just wondering, what are the chances of getting an on-campus job? And maybe with that, what types of campus jobs are available? So for Durham, it's very nice because at the Durham campus, we only have about 1,000 students here. So there's tons of opportunities and many ways for students to get involved on campus, whether it's with their professors, maybe with the student life department. There's students who work in recruitment or at the front office. So there's tons of ways to get these opportunities. And because people know who you are at the campus, again, it's a lot easier to open opportunities up. So those are some of the types of jobs available. You'll see them posted around the campus. So that really helps you to get an idea of what jobs are being available and those personal relationships, just talking with people and seeing what may be happening and maybe if something's not available in your first year, how to go about being aware of those jobs for your following years.
And as somebody who did work on campus while I was a student, I found it was a great way to earn a little bit of extra money and to really build my resume for life after graduation.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And the important thing about on-campus jobs as well is because we are at Trent and we understand that your education comes first, your hours are typically pretty flexible as well to make sure that you're able to, put your studies first and while still making that extra money on the campus for sure. So just want to take a couple more minutes to see if anybody else has any questions before we wrap up.
Folks, if there is anything that comes up after today, the email address was on the screen. It's financialaid@trentu.ca. For any questions that may come up after we sign off today, tomorrow, next week, as you're going through the process, any questions that come up for you, we'd be happy to really start working with you to build that funding plan because we know that they are unique to each student. And what we talked about today was just a number of the options that are there for you. And let's look at how we can combine those options to really make university affordable for you.
Sure. That's awesome. Thanks, Chris. So again, thanks everybody for joining us this evening for the webinar. We apologize again for the technical difficulties. So thank you for bearing with us there. So just wanted to give you guys a couple of quick reminders while you're all tuning in. We do have some events coming up for you guys that you may be interested in. So in the next couple weeks, we will actually have our open houses for both campuses. So in Durham, that will be on March 16th from 1 to 4. And in Peterborough, it will be on March 18th from 10 to 2. So great times to come come and speak with the profs, speak with staff members to get any of your questions answered. We will also be offering shuttle buses from different parts in the province. So if that's something you may be interested in as well, this will be a free service for anyone who would like to come to the open house. So definitely check out the details online at trentu.ca/bus-to-us. Now, we did have a college transfer question. So for any of you transfer students who may be interested in Trent as well, we will have specific transfer events happening on March 31st, and that's for both campuses. So good time to come in, speak with admissions, have some drop-in advising to see how your transfer credits will work, and that event will be geared a little more specifically towards you guys. We will also have tours running every single day, so if you can't make one of our events, that's no big deal. Both campuses do offer them every day, and all of the event details can be found online at trentu.ca/visit-Trent. Now, kind of going with our theme today of financing your education, every time you guys do come and visit us at either campus, we will enter you in our draw to win free first-year tuition. So if you come to open house, we'll enter you. If you come back for the transfer event, we'll enter you again. And if you come for a campus tour, you're entered as well. So more ways for you guys to get some money for your education and yeah, start preparing for next year. So with that, again, thank you guys for joining us this evening. And if you do have any questions, please get in touch with us later on, and have a great evening.
Thank you.